Okay, here I have a 1980 MGB. This is the LE limited edition Roadster. And this is a 100% original car. And I have a radiator leak. And so I'm needing to take the radiator out. And so this has got all the original parts. And because this was kind of hard to find a video that somebody did that would actually show how to do this, I decided to make my own video as we go. Maybe I can help somebody else out. But so just to kind of show, this has the original kind of a cardboard piece that fits down in the bottom underneath the radiator. You kind of have to get it out of the way. And this has 4 bolts. You can see the holes there, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top side. And the bolts are welded on that, basically on the body there. And there's over there. But when this is in its place, there's actually 1 screw, and there's the screw hole, and you have to get underneath the car to get it off. Show that real quick. And so you can see right there, there's a screw hole right there. And basically you take that screw out. Once you get that screw out and the 4 nuts off the top side and washers, then you can just pull that right out and get that out of the way, if that's still on your car, and it's not always on them. And then the other piece is that I've done so far is basically just the shroud that protects your fingers from the fan when the fan motor comes on. There's 2 bolts, there's 1 here and 1 here, and just pop those 2 bolts out and get that out of the way, and then you can get to your 4 bolts to take the radiator out. There's 1 there, there's 1 at the bottom. You can see right finger off of it. My finger's touching it right there. And then 1 here, and then the same place at the bottom. And on the inside, I think they're pretty easy to get to. 1 there, and then so those 4 bolts will come out. And then of course we've got to unhook the hoses, and I've already unhooked the sensor for the fan motor sensor, and it's right here. And there's 2 wires that connect there. Now 1 was on the right side, 1 was on the left side of that, and so I put, you can see an L and an R on there so I can keep track of those wires. You can kind of see a little bit there where I wrote that on there. Now the key is I'll have to make sure I bought a new sensor, so I have to make sure that sensor gets in the exact same spot. And assuming those only hook up one way, although they look exactly the same, so we'll find out. All right, that's what I've done so far. Now I'm going to start taking out, or take off this bottom hose and let it start draining. And then these radiators do not have a cap or anything on them, so the factory radiator, there's basically a bolt right here. That's your cap, if you will, for the radiator. And so once I get that hose off, I'll open that up. That way that'll let it breathe and finish draining this radiator. And we'll go from there. Okay, so these are the original hose clamps for this car. You can see they sort of look like a Carter pin or something. And I haven't messed with these before, but it appears that they just twist and then it'll loosen up this clamp. And I'm hoping to reuse these because I want to keep the originality of this car, because it is a 100% original car with only 14,000 original miles on it. So anyway, anything that I can keep 100% original, I'm obviously going to try to do that. Matter of fact, every part that's ever been taken off of this car I still have, and there's not been very many, just a few little minor things. Like this, I've got the original plastic one. I just wanted to keep the integrity of it, and it's still good. It's like it was when it came off. I just put this one on just to make sure the plastic one stays intact, just as an example on the radiator cap. All right, so I believe you can see this is already loosening up. I'm gonna keep working this and twist this, and I believe that's all you have to do to get it out. So I'm gonna work on that, and I'll be back. Hopefully it's successful. As you can see, it is loosening up, and so it just sort of untwists so far. Well, hopefully I can reuse it. We'll find out. Okay, so I twisted that to the left, and it loosened up. And then I just sort of used a screwdriver, just worked my way around the edges of it, trying not to hurt the hose. and was able to work it back. So now I should be able to pull it off. The telltale will be whenever I put it back, if I can reuse it. and hopefully I can. All right, now we're going to the underneath side, and we've got that screw on that clamp, and that's how we're going to unhook it and let it drain. I'll do that. No sense in you watching me do that. All right, got that loosened up, and just spread that out a little bit, pull it up out of the way. I'm going to pull the hose off and let this baby drain, and hopefully we can get this fixed. All right, the bottom hose took off, and it has drained. See that my pan down there. Okay, this hose is pulled off. I got to take this top hose off still, and then the bottom hose, you can see I've drained it into that pan, the antifreeze, and get my light on it. Yep, so that's all unhooked. It's a matter of pulling these 4 bolts that we talked about, and I can pop the radiator out. All right, once this clamp is loose, you can see it screws out just so far here. Right there, I screwed it most of the way out. Then I'll take this pliers, you can pinch this, and then I'll be able to pull and slide that down, if that makes sense. I'm gonna do that now. Okay, I've got that clamp pulled back. Now there may be a better technique to take this hose off, but I'm probably just gonna, because they get pretty sealed on there, I'm gonna put this screwdriver in here, just sort of work it a little bit, stretch it, try not to, real hard, not to damage this hose. I can do that. And there may be a better technique. If there is, maybe somebody post a video or just put in the comments if there's a better technique for taking that off. Okay, it didn't take much. I just kind of barely put my screwdriver in here in a couple spots and just pried on it a little bit. And now you can see it's loose. So I'm just gonna finish pulling that off. All right, I really didn't talk about sizes of bolts, but this is a size 13 on both sides. And then I used a number 10 on the bolts that hold the little cardboard tray in there. And the rest of that's, of course, just been a screwdriver. And the bolt that holds the fan protector or shroud on is a size 11. Okay, so you're going to want to first take off this nut here. And after you take this nut off, then it's got a bolt that's actually welded on here, or a nut, and then the bolt's on this side, and then you'll take it off second. Okay, I've got the 4 bolts loose or out. The bottom one's completely out, and the top one is loose except for just barely in there to hold it up for now. And then this brace, actually what strengthens that is this brace that comes to here that bolts on through that same bolt. Anybody got those out? The bottom one's out over there, so now it's just a matter of pulling this radiator out, repairing it, replacing it, whatever the case is, and then we'll put it back. Reverse order. All right, it's proven to be quite tricky. We got this sway bar that runs across here, and I'm not certain I can get the bottom where the bottom hose connects to the radiator. I'm not certain I can get it past this sway bar. If not, then there's probably at least 3 bolts that I might have to take off on that side to get this sway bar loose to get it out of the way. But I'm gonna see if I can pick it up and tilt it and hopefully get it out of here without having to do that. I'll let you know. Okay, well, unfortunately, the way this is built, this is welded to the radiator, this trim piece here, basically, or this piece that kind of helps strengthen it, kind of an angle iron almost. Anyway, it won't go past this, and so I can't get it in there enough to tilt it. So I'm gonna take this sway bar loose. I'm gonna see what that looks like. Hopefully I just have to take off one side. Basically there's a bolt right here, and then there's 2 bolts, one here and one on the other side, that hold that in place. So hopefully I can get that loose enough where I can just kind of shove it back out of the way to get this to clear and pull it out. Okay, believe it or not, that bolt on that sway bar is a 1/2 inch. I tried a 13, you'd think that would fit perfectly. This thing's, you know, about as metric as a car should get, I would think. But anyway, turns out a 1/2 inch fits perfectly. And then there's a spacer right here, or it basically holds, it's like a guide that holds this and it keeps this hose. It's cut out, you know. Anyway, that fits underneath the sway bar brackets. So I got one more bolt to take out here, and then gotta get that out of the way, and probably still have to unbolt this back here where it's mounted. Okay, I've got the bolt out on the sway bar, and you should be able to see. It should give me plenty of play on this sway bar now. Yeah, it moves quite a bit. It should give me what I need to get that out of there. And that sway bar was pretty easy. It was just a number 17 bolt, and on the other side, or the nut, I should say, and the bolt on the other side was a number 16. All right, I've got the radiator out. You can see, like, that antifreeze, I didn't spill that on there. It is leaking somewhere. But this car only has 14,000 miles on it. But it's crazy how, if you look, this radiator is in really ugly bad shape. And I guess it's just, you know, it's a 45-year-old car, and things are gonna go bad. Okay, I'm unpacking this nice new, brand new radiator from Moss Motors. There's the item number if somebody decided they needed it. It is an original reproduction, and went ahead and there's the new sensor, and then that's what holds the sensor to the radiator, and it came with a new seal. And by the way, on this is nothing more than a switch, so it doesn't matter which plug or which wire goes to which one when you hook it back up. There's one that's got a green wire and it's solid, and one that's got a green and black. But basically it's just a switch. Once that sensor heats up, it connects those two wires together, and that's what makes the fan come on. So anyway, it doesn't matter which one goes where. Okay, there it is. And basically it looks just like the original, except nice and shiny and brand new and does not leak. So I think it's gonna look really good and work really good is the main thing. I think they've done a nice job reproducing that. We'll get it in there here in a few minutes. Okay, I've got the new radiator bolted in. And now I'm hooking up the hoses. I'm trying to reuse this existing hose clamp. You'll see how it works. This metal, this pin, basically kind of a Carter pin, is slotted. And so I took this piece of flat metal, you see that, and I straightened it out and I shoved it back through it, and now I'm getting ready to twist this clockwise, and that should tighten this clamp up. So we're gonna give that a go, see how it works. Okay, it appears it worked. I basically took a real small screwdriver and I twisted it half a turn at a time after I slid it in that slot. And I think I was successful for using that clamp. Okay, now I have all the hoses hooked back up. There's the bottom hose. The sway bar bolts are put back on the sway bar. There's that one right there, off this sway bar. Right up here, and that was the bolt that I took out. That gave me plenty of room to maneuver that radiator in and out. So now all the top hoses are back on. I went ahead and snugged up the existing fittings, and that's a matter of just putting this little cardboard splash guard back in there, and then the fan shroud and a little screen, and then we'll put antifreeze in it, and we'll put that in right here. And of course we'll make sure that the reservoir is full, and then we'll have to run the engine, let the thermostat open up, and then we'll just have to keep adding antifreeze until it cycles it all through here. Now, one of the main things on this antifreeze, though, this radiator, it's completely sealed. There's no like drain plug or anything in the bottom of this particular radiator. There's no cap on this radiator. It all goes in up here. And so where this sensor is, you have to make sure there's no air pockets or anything in here. So you got to make sure this radiator is completely full. And you know, we'll use this reservoir and stuff, and it's vented to hopefully accomplish that. Turns out a 3/8 inch socket fit these 4 bolts on this splash guard better than any other size. Got a 10, but a 10 really just didn't fit quite right. So this good old 3/8 is working. Okay, I'm on to the last thing before I put antifreeze in it. I just need to tighten up these 2 bolts that hold this fan guard or shroud on there. And they are at number 11. Get those tightened up. And then should be, hopefully, get antifreeze in it, good as new. Alright, I'll be back after we start putting antifreeze in it. Okay, I've now got antifreeze in it. It took a gallon and a half basically right here, which is about what I took out of it. So now I'm letting the engine warm up. Trying to do it safely. I got the garage door open and I've actually vented the car out the back door. Alright, so let that thermostat open up and top it off. Well, I think everything's working good. The fans just kicked on, they've shut off now. And cooled it down and then we'll shut right back off. The thermostat's staying about where it should be. It's heating back up just a little bit. My suspicion is the fans will kick on here in a second. Cool it back down. There we go, fans kicked on. Quite a bit of air across the radiator. See how the thermostat's down? Alright. Now the fan's just kicked off. Seems like it's working great. So I hope this helps somebody. My name is Chet. And good luck with your radiator project if you decide to do one or need to do one.